Hello, everybody. This is Chaos with Chaos Games, and today what I want to talk about is the coming of Drakengard 3. Now, Drakengard or Dragoon is a lesser known Square Enix franchise. Um, it held a special place in my heart back in the PS2 days. Drakengard 1 and 2. It's it was a like kind of a Dynasty Warriors hack and slash, so you fight hordes of soldiers, and it was pretty basic. But the catch was that if you wanted to, you could summon your pack beast, a dragon, uh, as Kaim, and you could jump on the dragon's back and rain hell down on your enemies. And sometimes you were able to upgrade your dragon into different forms to make them more powerful, which was awesome. Drakengard 2 came out, had a new main character that tied into the first story. Noe and his father dragon Legna had still a pretty hard story to follow. That's not the most cohesive, but still kept that high that same formula with the horde mode, and you're fighting hordes of soldiers. You can choose to jump on the dragon's back. You had your allies. You can chain together different strategies and things like that. And the games were pretty straightforward. They offered a unique thing at the time, and it's still unique to this day. Really, you either have one or the other. You either have Dynasty Warriors, which was you have your hordes of enemies, and you go out and you start hack and slash through them, which is fun. Or you had your Panzer Dragoon order, or your layers where you're just dogfighting in on a dragon's back. But Drakengard combined the two in a very succinct way. It made a lot of sense how they did it, and I really enjoyed those two games when I played them back on the PS2. And for the fan following it does have, everybody was wondering why they never put out a next gen or current gen Drakengard. Now, there had been some speculation that Nier was the spiritual successor of Drakengard, but I never bought that because the games they play too different. The general feel of them was too different. Nier wasn't. You never really fought too many hordes of enemies like you did in Drakengard. There was like hordes upon hordes of enemies in Drakengard, and you fought. Nier was more of your standard action adventure hack and slash feel to it. It had boss fights, had different areas of the map. It just didn't feel even anywhere close to me to Drakengard. And Nier, to me, it's one of those games you either love it or you hate it. I loved it. It's a very unique game from Square Enix. So if you haven't never played Nier, you might like it. I'd say watch some trailers or some Let's Plays or whatever. But it's worth, to me, having. It was a very special game. It was written well. But that's aside from the point. Back to Drakengard. So I never bought that it was a spiritual successor. Nier was a spiritual successor of Drakengard. And it turns out my speculation was right, because now they're coming out with a Drakengard 3. And we don't know much about it. It has no trailers, only has a few screens up, so you might want to go to IGN or GameSpot if you're interested and look up some of the screens. The graphics honestly don't look that great, but I really don't care. It's one of those games that it has a special place in my heart, one of those franchises, so I'm going to get it regardless. But we only know a few things right now about the game, and that is there's two protagonists, female protagonists, which is different than the other ones, because before the first protagonist in Drakengard was Kaim and his dragon Angelus, and so it was a female dragon, and then you had Noe and Legna, the main character, and his father dragon, which is weird. You have to play the game to understand the story or watch a Let's Play. And this one is two sisters. It's 0 and 1. And apparently they have something called Utautai powers, where they basically, once they're completely drenched in the blood of their enemies, they'll unlock their full abilities, which is pretty cool sounding. Had the two protagonists chopping up enemies. and being drenched in their blood, which indicates that the game is going to be rather bloody. Which I guess I'm kind of sadistic in a way where gore is a fun thing for me. Always Mortal Kombat and everything, whatever. More blood, the more fun, and that seems to be the way they're going with this, and it really fits. I think they're keeping to the formula. I think the sisters will be riding dragons. From what I've seen, they're two ivory dragons, two white dragons, because that goes with the theme of the main characters. They're silver-haired, silver white clothes, ruffles kind of thing going on, Japanesey, you know. So I'm not sure what the plot is. We don't know much about that. But I don't know how many people out there is amped about this as I am. I've been waiting for this game for years, and it seems that it's weird that they're putting it out so close to the end of the life cycle of the system. But I guess at this point the production is becoming cheaper on these next gen systems, and it's just an opportune time to look into it. I imagine for the company to take a gamble on it, especially after Square Enix has been going through the upheaval after the failure of Final Fantasy XIV and them trying to correct that. I think they're getting back to their production on some of the projects they had put a hold on because of that failure. So I'm looking forward to more details on this. Apparently, it's as of March, it was about 60% complete. So I'm guessing now that it is June, they're probably up in the 80s by now. Maybe I'm being forward, but I'm hoping that they're moving right along, and so I expect a Japanese release date soon, or to come out in the next couple of months. And then I expect, hopefully, them to port it over and bring it to the U.S. like they did the Drakengard 1 and 2. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they'll bring it over here. But there's no indication that they will. But as of now, Dragoon the 3 is going to be coming out in Japan at some point here before the end of the year. So, any news else comes up, anything notable comes up, I'll try to stay on top of it, because this is a story. This is an issue that is very, very close to my heart, because, like I said, I enjoyed the series a lot. Now I'm really interested and intrigued to see where they're going with it. And when more details come about, I will be sure to, if anything interesting comes up, to post on that. Anyway, until next time, this is Kaous Games. Gamers Game On.